Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. Today I'm here with Risha Aguon, who is a licensed professional counselor and most recently a quantum healing hypnotherapist. Welcome, Risha.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just had the most incredible transformative experience. I was actually I tried out the quantum healing hypnotherapy and it was incredible. But I wanted to talk overall just about, first of all, what inspired you to become a counselor?
I get asked this question a lot, but I think the most sincere answer is I grew up very sensitive with a ton of emotions and not really knowing how to work through them. But as I was introduced to psychology, Sister Dorothy and Academy, it opened up to the world to there is a reason behind all of this. There is a reason behind your emotions, your thoughts, and from there I just never lost interest.
I think most of us, though, we're feeling beings, right? And I think a lot of times, especially at a young age, when we're kind of told to shut down or, stop crying or, basically don't emote.
Right.
We're kind of given those messages young, and how opposite is it to what we're truly, because I'm sure in your practice you have seen the repercussions of shutting down and suppressing, repressing emotions. So, especially now that, we're coming along up on the holidays, whether or not it's the holidays, can you share, what are some tools people, if they choose, that's the other thing. It used to be so taboo to see a therapist, and a lot has changed over the years, right? Everyone
has therapy. I believe that.
But what are some tools that you could offer, So, obviously it won't be like a full-on therapy session, but what are tools people could reach towards and use if they're feeling anxiety, for instance?
Right. I think you made a very good point that we were told not to feel our uncomfortable emotions mostly.
Right.
Like anxiety, fear, but we're learning now that that's not helpful for us.
But what are some of the repercussions of not allowing that?
Well, it can go into your physical body. It could actually, the worst case scenario is it could, even studies have shown it can even cause cancer at some point. Yeah, they've related anger to cancer, or holding in anger.
Touched on that,
So there's studies that show now that it's related, right? Your emotions to your physical body, mind, heart, spirit.
Right.
So some things you can do are, the basic thing is just allow your emotions, right? I think with the holiday season coming up, it's going to be stressful. Sometimes you add more to your plate. And so sometimes stress can actually trigger certain emotions. It can trigger stress, it can trigger anxiety, it can trigger depression, yes, sadness for sure, irritation sometimes. So one tip I would think that would be helpful if you are not able to come into therapy is just being aware. Awareness is a good starting point to healing or to feeling better. When you're aware of what's happening to you, when you're aware that you're actually feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed or you're feeling irritated, then from there you can kind of try to navigate, okay, why am I feeling this way? And sometimes we don't even know, and that's where therapy really helps, right? Is to try and figure that out. Okay, where is it really coming from?
Right.
And then make it better.
Yeah. Well, I could self-attest. Just having that experience with you earlier with the quantum healing hypnotherapy, me coming in here, I really want to know what this is about, and trying to get, and of course, what could take you somewhere quicker than something like hypnotherapy. But I want to also touch on that a little bit, because quantum healing hypnotherapy is different than conventional hypnotherapy. Can you explain the difference?
Yes. So it was founded by this hypnotherapist. Her name is Dolores Cannon. My brother introduced me to her, so I did a training to be certified in quantum healing hypnosis. So what it does is it really takes you back to a different, some would say past life, but it just takes you to a time in your under your hypnosis where that can kind of show you a lesson that's related to this time in your life.
Right.
So there's two parts of it. That's the first part, and then the second part is you're tapped into, I would say, she calls it the subconscious, but I would call it to the part of you that is not blocked by your ego or by your mind or overthinking. And during the hypnosis, as you experience, right, you get to ask that part of you questions, and you answer from that place, that place that's not conditioned by anything from society, that's just really authentically you.
Right. And how rare is that, right? How are we, there's so much influence everywhere, you know?
Right.
From our families, from our community, from social media, you know? Although we try to say, oh, we're not influenced, but, you know, isn't that what a belief is? It's like the repeated thought. It's kind of similarly with behavior. I don't know.
Absolutely. We're influenced from the time we're a baby.
Right.
Actually, they found that we're actually influenced from the time that we're in the womb. Because if your mother is stressed, the baby will already pick up that it's a stressful world.
Yeah.
So the time that we're even in the womb to the time we're a baby and we say, this is good for you, formula is good for you, breast milk is good for you, we're already being conditioned to what, you know, society or the person that's caring for you, the person that's with you, thinks is best for you. And sometimes it's not.
Right. That's incredible. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time for part 2 of this edition with Risha Aguon.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.